What is going on, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. Today, we're touching on Shaman Camps, Spirit Totems, and recipes. We're going to be cooking. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's jump right in. So I wanted to go over this in yesterday's video, but I didn't want to make the video too long, so I'm touching on it today. Spirit Totems, recipes, what are they? What are the strengths? When to go them? What is my opinion of them? First off, my opinion of the Spirit Totems, 10 out of 10. Absolute hit. I love it. I said it in yesterday's video that I love that you can kind of change up your build maybe a little bit. If you need, maybe you can go protection item or something instead of another health item in support, or you can build more towards power and lifesteal and you don't need as much pen. Maybe for some reason you go 30% in your base build and then you get the extra 5%. Like overall, it allows you to be more flexible with your build because you have these buffs that you can kind of run around and grab to make your build more augmented. I'm probably going to say that a lot because the Spirit Totems augment the buff. Hopefully I don't say it too much. If I do, maybe Mario calls me an idiot or somewhere.
You're an idiot.
Let's just jump into the Spirit Totems. So the first back camp will be a normal back camp. After that, for the next 5 back camps you get, it will be mirrored on both your and the enemy's side. You'll get the same order of buffs. Blue, red, yellow, purple, green, in some order. It'll be mirrored on the enemy side. So if they get green buff first, you get green buff first. You both get that 10% max health. If they get blue buff, 10% cooldown, you're also going to be getting that. However, if you go over and you kill the enemy's buff, that will delay their buff. And so now, say you get your green, you kill their green one, they don't end up getting that, and they have to wait for the next respawn to get green, and you can just go to the next color, which is whatever, red, purple, whatever. Maybe there's some plays to be made on the enemy's back camps. Maybe solo becomes more important to be able to run to the enemy back camp to stop them from farming it or something. Because those buffs, while random, they can change how the game is played. If you're running around and your team has 10% extra max health at even like minute 5 and the enemy doesn't, that is a free 25% max health across the board for your team. Instantly, you just become like a harder team to kill. Same with cooldown. If you just have an extra 50% cooldown, you're just going to be stronger. So I'm curious if teams are going to be playing around this and trying to shut it down, but it's cool. I love it. So Azure Spirit Totem is 10% cooldown. Like I said, yellow is 5. Okay, I didn't even realize that they have the colors as different. But this is green, red, purple, yellow, blue. I didn't even realize that they had different name colors to them. But the strength of all of them, I think blue buff is really strong early game, obviously. 10% cooldown at 5 minutes into the game. Instantly, your abilities are just going to be up faster. Big ultimates, you can be up faster too. 5% pen, probably the worst one in my opinion. But there is a point in the game where if you're at 30% pen and there's a fight happening or a fight's about to start happening and you can get up to 35% pen, that is a little help. I do think that even then, you're probably not maxed out on cooldown. You could probably use some attack speed. That health could be even more important. Some lifesteal could be more important. But maybe that 5% pen throws it over and you win a fight because of that. But 10% attack speed, very strong for basically any role other than support. A mid laner who can auto more to clear buffs faster or to be able to put out more damage, always going to be strong. Hunters just getting 20% attack speed from their buff instead of just 10% is going to be insane. Solos, Osiris's, Bellona's, Erlang's obviously love attack speed. And if they can combo this with one of the recipes that we'll talk about later, they'll become very strong in the laning phase. Crimson, I think this one is also kind of weak, but I think there may be a meta where hunters are going to be messing around with this. Maybe where they go Cowl, because Cowl's 4% lifesteal. It's very, very weak. Kicking this up to 11% is huge. 11% versus 4%, you're almost tripling your lifesteal, and you actually become a threat. This can maybe allow for a, I don't know, like a crit rush build. The problem is the best rush items are just Aussie and Devs, so you're going a lifesteal item anyway. But maybe they don't build anti-heal, and that 7% lifesteal is going to be huge. I don't know. Anubis, building Typhons also, you get more lifesteal from this, makes your Typhons do more damage. So there's going to be some play around with this. I think it will mostly just be a Typhons and then a Hunter thing, but cool nonetheless. And Verdant Spirit Totem. In my opinion, this one is the best one, and it's not particularly close. A support who is getting like an extra 350, almost 4,000 health. A solo laner getting an extra 350, 4,000 health. Mid laners just getting a free 250 health. ADCs 250 health. Like, the health benefit you get from this is just insane. And I think people should not overlook how much health you're actually getting. And then, I mean, how much mana you're also getting. Also, I deadass just thought of something and I went and tested it. And I literally sat here with the video recording and made Mario stand around and wait for me to go figure it out. This is 10% max mana also. So this should work with Book of Thoth, and it should work with Trans also. Trans, you'll get an extra, I don't know, 7 power, something like that. But with mages, if you've got like 3k health, you're getting an extra 21 power from this item on top of the extra health. So this Verdant buff would be a health buff a power buff, and a mana buff, and like if you had a red buff too, you'd actually be getting just like 9 different things. I think mid laners should be taking this if they build Book. Also with Book's buff last patch, more likely that it gets bought. All right, on to the recipes. Let's start with this first. They cost 0 and they are in your item tree as the last item until you sell it. After you complete the first step, you get 50 gold. The second step, you get 75 gold, so you should be trying to get these. The base recipe and the finished recipe give no stats. The only thing you get is the passive, and there's little things to do for step 1. Kill 30 minions, 40 minion assists, spend 1,000 mana, kill or assist 30 jungle minions, deal or take 1,500 god damage. And then step 2 is slightly harder sometimes. Some of them, I actually think it's easier. Like 750 basic attack damage. If you're playing a hunter, this is not too bad unless you're just permanently farming and not hitting anyone. Crowd control an enemy 10 times. Deal 2,000. So there's these easy steps to do as long as your characters are built to do it. And then after that, you get these passives. So gooseberries, widely considered probably the best one for a number of reasons. Now that I've kind of played with it a little bit, I think it's the second best one. I think 1 is outright the best. Golden gooseberries, basic attacks will now be AoE 10 unit radius, and they do 30% damage to gods and 50% to minions and jungle camps. This makes farming a breeze for golden blade gods or hunters that need extra clear. Gods like Artemis, who don't clear all that well. AMC's obviously not going to need an item like this, and some other gods can maybe use the other items better. However, gods that struggle to farm will be making great use out of this. And then some jungle warriors like Erlang and Osiris, who don't necessarily want to go Golden Blade, will now have an opportunity to go like a Berserker's first item, a Toxic Blade, an Xe, whatever they want to go instead of that Golden Blade, because now golden gooseberries will now make up for their lack of clear. I think this is the second best one. I think there's very rarely a downside. Oh, solo laners also will be liking this item. Osiris makes it so you can just group the wave a lot easier, clear with this. Bellona, another one. She just kind of insta-clears the wave at that point. Erlang can fight around it. Even gods that don't really need the auto-attack damage for clear, they will just make decent use out of it because it allows them to group the wave and just clear it slightly faster. And solo lane is very important for clear because the faster you clear, the faster you can start beating on the enemy while they're clearing their wave. Sturdy Stew is the support one. I think this one's actually pretty decent. I think I underrated it when I first read it. I think the one thing I didn't like about this is that it's only on you. So if you get dash taunted, then it spreads out. If your ally is getting gone on, it doesn't proc on him. If he gets dash taunted, it doesn't proc. So I think it's got its positives and it's got its negatives. If you're a frontliner, this will be good. If you're a backliner, this also might see some play because just getting this 5 up to 25 per level protections that last for 5 seconds. Team fights a lot of the times get decided in 5 seconds. So that extra protection without needing an item might be pretty insane. Bountiful Bow. This one's probably the one that I think is the best. It is crazy how much this item does. Every 8 seconds, if you use an ability, the cooldown is reduced by 1.5. So gods like Hebo, spamming is 1. Instead of a 3-second cooldown, or 2.7 if you have 10% cooldown, it is now 1.5 seconds. So you can 1. Crazy. Chronos can now use his 1, wait 3.5 instead of the total 5, and then 1 again. For every god in the game, Scylla, 10 seconds. Nope, 8.5. All abilities in the game that have value, so nearly every single ability that isn't being used as like a dash or something like that, when you don't really need a dash, like you dash on a base or something, it will just make the ability come up faster. It is a better Chronos pendant because you proc it when you want to use it. It's something you kind of got to keep in mind because if you're playing Scylla, we'll just use Scylla as an example. If you use Scylla and you root first before 2ing, your root's going to be up faster than your 2. So maybe you want a 2 to clear first instead of 1ing first to get your 2 back up faster so you can continue clearing. So stuff like that you kind of have to keep in mind. So it is a little bit maybe more high level, but I don't think so really because it's also kind of passive where even if you do use your 1 and it comes up faster, it's not the end of the world. Your 2 will still be up 1.5 seconds slower than it would have been if you used it correctly. So it's not the end of the world, but it still has like min-maxing, which I really, really like. Party Punch. I also underrated this one a little bit. This damage kind of builds up pretty fast and allows you to farm super fast. So this 20 plus 15% of your power, it's not really a lot. It ends up being like 40 damage, but 40 damage every 3, 4, 5 seconds, you only need to travel 100 units, which is nothing. 100 units is like speed buff to back camps. So you can kill the speed buff, use this, kill the back camps, use this, kill the blue buff, use this. It just makes your clear a lot better. And it also helps in those fights a little bit where it just gives you a little bit extra damage. I do think it's not great, but I think it's at least like okay. And then by far the worst one, this one is so bad. Being out of combat for 5 seconds grants you a buff that reduces the damage of the next basic attack or ability from a god by 20%. First off, why do you have to get out of combat? Second off, any ability or auto, any. If this was just every 5 seconds you get a buff that reduces basic attack or the damage from the next basic attack or ability, I think that could actually be pretty decent. You get hit by so many abilities, but just this 20% and you need to be out of combat? I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Not a great one. I don't think I'm ever going this one until HiRez buffs it. There's just always going to be more value. Like even as a soul laner or support, getting the bow for the cooldown, getting sturdy stew for the extra protections, even gooseberries to clear faster, all just make way more sense. So I would not do this one ever in any scenario. Do not build this one. But yeah, these are the recipes and the spirit totems. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. Love to help out. If you guys have any actually theory crafting with them, I'd also love to know. Maybe some builds you've been cooking up to work with the spirit totems. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.